Doing the first 8 to 12 hours, and there will be an increase in hunger from the hormone ghrelin. 18 to 24 hours, you're going to deplete your glycogen stores, and your body will produce its own sugar. The process is called gluconeogenesis, and it occurs in your liver primarily, and to a smaller extent in your kidneys. It will start to impact autoimmune disease. And the way it does that is because you are not exposed to food proteins during that time. Many times autoimmune disease can be impacted by what you eat. Things like gluten protein, dairy, nightshades, lectins, etc. So if you're not eating for those hours or days, you're going to reduce the impact on autoimmune disease, or you're going to improve autoimmune disease. During this time, you will have an increase in AMPK, a key energy sensor, right? This is what helps stimulate autophagy, the clearance of cells or debris or dysfunctional cells. So autophagy cleans and is stimulated by a limited amount of nutrients. So when you go into a fasted state, it actually stimulates AMPK as well as autophagy. It will decrease inflammation in the brain and the body, as well as creating a hybrid system. This is what we call a metabolic switch. Your body is able to utilize glucose and ketones at this time, and it becomes more of a hybrid machine rather than just a gasoline machine. During this time, you will have an increase in brain-derived neurotrophic factors, as well as growth hormones. You have an increase in ketones, and your breath will start to change. There will be a smell to it, because you have increased ketones at that time, okay? You can do very light exercise at this point. Now, day 2. You're going to have continual increase in brain-derived neurotrophic factors. You'll have human growth hormones increasing, and you might have some increase in ghrelin or more hunger in the initial 24-hour phase. But as you get into later time in the 24 hours to 48 hours, the hunger will go down, so ghrelin will go down. You're going to increase autophagy, and this is where a lot of the clearance of the aggregate proteins in the brain will start to occur. Things like amyloid, tau, Lewy body, alpha-synucleins, or even primed glial cells. These aggregate proteins are associated with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, okay? And primed glial cells, it can occur when you have a concussion or extreme stress, where the immune cells of the brain, or what we call the glia, become hyperactive. Okay? It helps to clear out these cells, and brain function starts to improve at this point. Something called mitophagy also occurs, and this is minimizing or reducing the inefficient mitochondria of the cells, so your body becomes more efficient in producing energy. It will decrease insulin sensitivity and help reset it. So what I mean by this is patients who have prediabetes or diabetes, the cells become less sensitive to insulin, and there's more sugar circulating in the blood. At this time, it starts to reset. The sensitivity will improve, so you don't need as much insulin to become more efficient in transporting glucose into the cells. You will decrease fatty liver and metabolic syndrome, and 90 to 95% of your energy is coming from ketones at this point. So when you check your blood with a little ketone meter, your ketones will probably be around 1.5 to 3 at this point. A lot of gut healing can occur at this point. You can do a little bit of exercise, very mild, walking, stretching, etc. And on day 2, you might need a nap. You might feel a little bit fatigued and tired, so give yourself time to take a nap if you need one, okay? Day 3, you're going to have continued autophagy, reversal of disease, like that chronic nagging knee pain or inflamed lower back, right? Clearance of brain fog. This is where this is occurring in day 3. Increased immune function, so almost a reset of your immune function. Increase in stem cells, which will aid in the healing process, right? Those chronic nagging things that bother you will start to really heal in day 3. Your ketones in the blood will go to probably around 3 to 4, okay? And you can do a little bit of walking and stretching. Now, between day 2 and day 3 is really what we call the peak autophagy and hormone production, etc. This is where you're getting the peak amount of resetting and benefits of fasting on day 3. If you want to continue that process, you go to day 4 and 5. Basically, it's a maintenance of day 3. Okay? You're not going to get like more autophagy, it's just you're going to maintain that. The body learns the reset points, resets of hormones, metabolic health, immune function, and your gut health, right? So the body relearns it, and if you can maintain a healthy lifestyle after day 4 and 5, you can maintain this progress or benefits that you had in day 4 and 5. Okay. Not everyone can really go from day 1 all the way to day 5. Okay. I talked about the patients who should not do this and that it should be supervised. Okay. So let's get to, let's say, day 3, and you're having difficulty. At this point, you could add in bone broth for days 4 and 5 if you want. So you can do all water and minerals up to this point. And then if you're having a problem, struggling, you can add bone broth on days 4 and 5. Now, with that break, the fasting component, very mild, right? But you can still reap the benefits by just utilizing the bone broth and still utilize some of the things that you've been accomplishing from days 1 to 3. You can also switch to what we call the lemon lime fast. I did a video on this where you're utilizing lemons and lime and water and a little bit of grape maple syrup in there. And you can drink that on days 4 and 5, which will help you, progress and get through the 5 days. All right? Yes. Now, coming out of the fast, you've done the 5-day fast, and what do you do at that point? You can use initially MCT oil because you're in ketosis, and you can use a good quality fat to keep you in ketosis. And immediately you can start using some bone broth or vegetable broth in the initial phases, fermented foods, cooked vegetables, okay? And then maybe plain animal protein. So you would start maybe from MCT oil and start adding all these in throughout the 24-hour period. Small portions of the first day is important. You don't want to overwhelm your system. So small portions of everything. Now, at that time, you might want to consider a ketogenic diet for another week. So you can continue the benefits of the 5-day water fast by going into a ketogenic diet for 1 more week. Okay. Now, the purpose of the 5-day water fast is about resetting autophagy, hormone clearance, etc. But the real benefit comes from making the realization with your relationship with food. Patients often have problems with gluten and dairy and sugar and all these other things. And when they do the 5-day fast with an accomplishment of doing it, you have a change or a shift in your relationship with food. Your motivation has changed. So continue on with healthy eating if you want to move forward, and you can reap the benefits of the 5-day water fast. All right? My name is Dr. Jin W, where clinical excellence meets excellent results, and we'll see you guys next week on the healthy side.